Hello and Nyob to each and every one of you. Today, my mom and I will be showing you our favorite garlic chili oil that we love to have in the fridge, in the pantry for when we want to spice up our noodle dishes, our salads, our stir fries, lots of different dishes. And this is our go-to chili oil that we love to make. My mom taught me how to make it, and now I'm showing you all how to make it, so hopefully you can make it yourself and have it handy in the fridge or in the pantry for whenever you want to spice up your own dishes. This is a fairly simple recipe. It's just a little bit tedious and kind of time consuming watching the oil temperature and making sure you don't burn any of the ingredients, but it is super delicious either way. So hopefully you can give this one a try and let me know what you like to add into your chili oil if you make your own as well. I'm always curious. Other than that, we'll just get straight to it and show you all how to make our garlic chili oil. Let's go. So before we start cooking, I wanted to show you the ingredients that I'll be using for this chili oil, and specifically the two main chili powders that I love to use for my chili oil. The first one here is a Thai style chili powder. I like using this one because of its spiciness and its flavor, especially for making chili oil. And then this one here is a Korean style chili powder that they love using for all their cookings. I use this one for coloring. It's not for spice, but more of that really nice deep red color for chili oil. So I do a combination of both. It's really up to you. You can make this all Thai chili powder to give it that really extra spiciness, or you can do half and half like what I'm doing right now. And this one here is what it looks like for a Thai chili powder. I like to buy ones that are already fine and powder up like this just for ease. And for the Korean one, usually this is what it looks like at most Korean markets, or a lot of Asian markets usually have it as well. And it should say coarse. So get the coarse version to give it that really nice texture. Yeah, so that's what that looks like. And then let's talk about aromatics. So here I have some lemongrass that I minced up really fine. These are from our garden, so it's a good way to use up lemongrass here. I have some shallots here as well, diced up, and some minced garlic. For seasonings, pretty basic. I have some chicken bouillon here, totally optional for those who don't like that MSG flavor or that extra umami and flavor. You can remove this and not use it, but it does make a huge difference for the chili oil. If you're a vegetarian, you can definitely use mushroom seasoning if you prefer, or just don't use any at all. I have some salt here, and this one here is some Szechuan peppercorns. Yes, we love using Szechuan peppercorns in our chili oil. It gives it that really nice spicy and numbing flavor to it. So if you like using Szechuan peppercorns, definitely add it in there. If you don't prefer it, you don't have to add it in there. It's totally up to you. And that's about it. So let's go ahead and start cooking. Okay, so in a pot here, I have about 4 cups of neutral oil. So I'm using vegetable oil. You can use canola oil. You can also do avocado oil, but I really like just using a really neutral oil for this because we are going to flavor the oil as we go. So I'm heating it up to about maybe 275 to 300 degrees Fahrenheit, or just when you add the garlic, it starts to sizzle a little bit. So I'm carefully going to add in the minced garlic. We're going to fry it up till golden brown. And I like to do it on a medium heat so I don't burn any other aromatics, and then I'll bump up the heat as I go. So as you put the garlic in, keep stirring it so that they don't clump up and stick to the bottom. Try your best to use a really good non-stick pan as well if you can. Okay, so the garlic is starting to brown. So once it starts to brown, it's gonna happen really quick. So just keep an eye on it, but you want it quite crisp and brown to give it that really nice fried garlic flavor. Probably has another 30 seconds or so just to brown up. It's almost there though. Okay, so this looks good. I'm gonna turn off the heat, and I'm gonna use a colander or spider here and get all the garlic out of the oil. The reason why I'm doing this is just so that it can help stop the cooking process of the garlic. So you want nice and golden brown like this. And I'm going to transfer this into a separate bowl, and we'll add this later after everything else is cooked.
So all the garlic has been strained out. At this point, I'm gonna add in the shallots, and the heat is also turned off. The reason why is because I don't want any bubbling happening to overflow the pot. If you have a bigger pot, by all means, use a bigger pot. At the same time, we're also gonna drop in the lemongrass. Okay, once that's in, let's go ahead and turn the heat back on. And same thing, we're gonna cook this until the shallots are nice and golden brown. So this is pretty much almost there. Some of the shallots are still kind of pale, but that's all right. Just be careful not to overcook this because since it's sitting in oil, it's continue cooking. Okay, so that's good. I'm gonna turn off the heat and we are gonna go ahead and add in our seasonings. Go ahead and add in the chicken bouillon, the salt. While the oil is still hot, since we turn off the heat, let's go straight in with the peppers. So the chili peppers goes in. Once the chili pepper goes in, you can smell the chili oil happening. It smells so good. Give this a good stir. So just to note, the heat is off. So make sure you keep the heat off, or else if you don't, the chili peppers have a tendency to burn. Okay, so once that's nice and stirred, what we're gonna add is our Szechuan peppercorns. So once everything is nice and stirred and incorporated, our last thing is to add in the garlic back. And we are pretty much done. So simple. It's just a matter of prepping and waiting for things to cook. But the flavor and the aroma right now smells so good. We're gonna let this cool first before we can store it in some mason jars. So once the chili oil has cooled, I like to store it in a mason jar. So I have a funnel here over a mason jar. Just place it over that so it's easier to pour the chili oil over. So scoop it in. Close this with a lid, and then you could store it in the fridge for up to a year. Room temperature up to 6 months. Just make sure you don't allow any moisture like water and such inside the oil, or else it'll get moldy. But we like to store it in the fridge and, you know, pull it out whenever we need it, and it'll last quite a long time. But yes, that is my mom's chili oil that she loves making for us every single year, and it is super delicious. Other than that, I hope you all can give this chili oil recipe a try.
nó đây là cái nó tệ cái nó xong nó ít ô tệ lấy gông câu lên nó tệ xong rồi cho tên trên nó là cũng ô lên nó